Hei, Ed Brown her fra Stefanusalliansen. Vi er en misjons- og menneskerettighetsorganisasjon. Og vi eksisterer fordi millioner av mennesker diskrimineres og forfølges for sin tro. I Forum Stefanus får vi møte noen av disse modige menneskene. Våre partnere som står midt oppe i kampen for trosfrihet. Velkommen til Forum Stefanus. I dag har vi med oss fra Tyrkia pastor Ramazan Arikan. Han er hovedpastor i Antalya evangelisk kirke, en av de største evangeliske kirkene i Tyrkia. Antalya kirke har vært et prosjektpartner med oss i 10-12 år nå. So let me just say welcome to you, Ramazan Arikan. Welcome, thank you for being part of the show with us today.
Thank you so much for inviting me.
And why don't we just get right to it? Could you tell us a little bit about yourself, the work that you're doing with the Antalya Church, and tell us about your background, the journey you've taken to become a Christian believer.
Okay. Yeah, my name is Ramazan Arkan, which means is actually Ramadan, because I was born during the Ramadan time, and my grandma gave me this name. And I raised as a Muslim. And I grew up in a Muslim family, in a Muslim culture. Our church, let me tell you a little bit about our church. Our church is a Turkish church, and it started in 1992 by Swiss missionary couple. And when they came to Antalya, during that time, there was no Christians, as we knew. And that's why they came to Antalya to start the church here and share the gospel with people. After they moved to Antalya, they shared the gospel with people, and some of the people became a Christian. In 1992, with 6 people, they started our church in their home. And 4 years later, I attended that church. And we met in houses and picnic areas many years because we didn't have a building. But in 1999, the International Church of Antalya, they built their own church building. It's called the St. Paul Cultural Center in Antalya. After they built that building, we as a Turkish church also started to rent from them for our church activities. And after that, after we started meeting in that church building, our church started to grow faster, because before we were a house church and nobody knew us. But after we became a public church in that building, we started to receive a lot of visitors. And then we shared the gospel with them, and then they became a Christian. And when we came to that building in 1999, we were just 22 people. But we are about 200 people now. They are all coming from Christian, Islamic background to Christianity, like me. And also we have also another church now that we started in 2016 with the help of Norwegian churches and Stefanus Alliance. And we have now 2 churches in Antalya. And I am the head pastor of this church, and also we have the leadership team and the minister group team that we are leading this church now.
Wonderful. Thank you for sharing.
You're welcome.
Could you tell us a little bit about the situation now during the COVID pandemic? What is that doing to the church in Turkey? What are the challenges and what are some of the opportunities you're seeing?
Yeah. It was a very weird time, and we never experienced anything like that before. And that's why first weeks it was kind of weird, and because government told us that we cannot meet at the church building anymore, and also some ages they can't go outside, and everywhere was closed, and we didn't know what to do. But we came up with the idea that we can reach out our church members with online ministry. And that's why the church elders and the minister group leaders, we came together, and during the weekday we prepare a Sunday worship service for them, and we record worship songs and also the sermons, and then we put it on our Turkish website, that on Sunday people can still worship in their home and also learn from the sermons. And we did that for Sunday services like that. And also with Zoom meeting, we had small groups during the weekday. We basically continue all our meetings, but not in the building, but with the Zoom meeting. We had discipleship training programs every week, and also we had prayer meeting and home groups, and we had youth group and the ladies' Bible studies. We did all those meetings as online on the internet. And actually, I was shocked that a lot of people attended, you know. I wasn't expecting that much, but a lot of people attended because, you know, Turkish culture is very relational culture. That like people very close to each other, but during the pandemic, we couldn't come together, and they missed each other a lot. And that's why we did those Zoom meetings, and it did work out really well. A lot of people attended, and church is still functioning. And also we are, as pastors and leaders, we did still counseling people through the WhatsApp or Zoom. And yeah, we didn't have any problem for worship or learning experience as group, you know. We did those online, but it was weird that people couldn't come together, and that was very against our culture, you know. But now Turkey opened up again, and this Sunday we are starting meeting in our building with some regulations and rules.
Maybe you could tell us a little bit about the situation in Turkey for freedom of religion or belief. How free are Christians or other minorities to practice their faith in general, not just in the COVID times, but in general?
In general,
in our part of the world, we think everybody has lots of freedom. They can go to church when they want to. They can change their religion when they want to. But it's not exactly like that in Turkey, is it? Can you explain to us what that's like? What's that like there?
Of course. Let me tell you this first. Turkey is a democrat country. You know, we have democracy, but our democracy is very different than, you know, Western democracy. And according to law, we have freedom to believe what we want to believe. And also we have freedom to share our faith with others according to law. But those rights are not really supported on practice. And we don't have so much pressure from the government, but we do have a lot of, opposition from the society, because the majority of our country are Muslim, and some of the Muslims group or the nationalist group, they are not welcoming Christian, or they don't want to tolerance the Christianity or Christians. And that's why sometimes they attack the churches in the past, and many churches and pastors and missionaries, they experience some of the attack from those groups. I myself also experienced that too in the past. And as I said, according to law, we have freedom, but those rights are not really supported on practice. And also Turkey is trying to be part of the European Union. In order to do that, they have to provide more religious freedom and protect the human rights. And that's why government is providing police protection for us. Every church service that we have in our building, we have police protection. They are trying to protect us from those religious or nationalist group, and because they don't want anything to happen to Christians, because if something happened to Christians, that's affect the Turkey partnership with EU, and also it's affected tourism. That's why government is protecting us. Like as personal level, when person accepted Christianity, actually there's a lot of challenges for that person, because unfortunately there is a lot of misinformation and misunderstanding about Christianity in Turkey. And when you became a Christian in Turkey, people think that you became a betrayer of your culture, of your country. And also they think that we are, as a church workers or Christians, Turkish Christians, trying to change the culture, brainwash the kids, and they think that we are working for CIA or FBI. They treat us like spies, and betrayers, and sometimes that makes a lot of pressure on Christians, because of those misinformations. When they became a Christian, they reject by their own families. It didn't happen to me, but most of the people in my church, after they became a Christian, they've been rejected by their own family and friends. And you may lose your job. It depends on your boss, what he believes and how strong he believes. But we saw people that they lost their job. They experienced that. It's really hard to find a good job for Christians. Once you became a Christian, and especially when you change your identification card, because in our identification card, it says what our religion is, Once you change that, life is not the same anymore, and there's a lot of challenges and discrimination that you will face. And also, as churches, we have some problems too. That sometimes yes, we do have those freedom according to law, but when we start practicing our rights, like for example, we sometimes set up the book stand on the street, and we try to evangelize people with brochure and the books and that kind of activity that we do outside. Sometimes the police stopped us. Sometimes local government doesn't give any permission. Even that we have that rights, we can't use it, Yeah, we are facing those kind of challenges and problems. But according to law, we are a democrat country.
Yeah. So the difference between the law and practice can be quite great. I know there have been attacks on churches. The reason why there are police there is because there are attacks on churches occasionally.
Yes.
Christians have been murdered because of their faith. So it is a challenging situation. So Ramazan, you became a Christian believer from a Muslim background. And
yes,
you shared with us earlier that has posed some challenges for you, as it does for many converts in Turkey. Maybe you could share your personal story about this and how you were threatened, and that could illustrate how it is for many others in Turkey today. So tell us about that episode where you were threatened and how that came about and how that actually affected your relationship with your wife at the time.
Okay. Yeah, since I became especially pastor and I receive a lot of threats, usually emails or phone calls, and then some physical threats that some people came and attack me or the other church elders in the church building. But one of them was the serious one, and that happened in 2008. In 2007 and 2008 was a very difficult time for Turkish Christians, because during that time, lots of pastors and a lot of also church leaders received threat. And also we lost some of our brothers during that time. And before that, we didn't feel that we were in danger so much, and we hear from different places that this Christian got attacked or this Christian got threatening. It didn't feel so close or real to me, but what I experienced in 2008 during the Christmas time, that was kind of like lightning to me and my family. During the Christmas time, we usually do big outreach, and we prepare a Christmas outreach at the hotel, and we invited a lot of people. During that time, one of the guy actually called me before the Christmas service a couple days ago, and he told me that he is interested about Christianity and he wanted to come and ask me some question. And I invited him to the church building, and we usually meet at the church for new people. And during the day, one of my friends wanted to buy me a lunch, and he invited me lunch, like we didn't schedule for anything, and we went out with him. I went out with him, and during that time this guy came and he asked me, and the security guy that we have.
While you were at the restaurant, this guy came up to you?
Yeah, no, when I was at the restaurant, this guy came to the church and he wanted to meet with me because I invited him, And when he came, he asked me from the security guy that we had at the church. He said that he told him that I wasn't there. I will come an hour later. If he wants, he can wait for me inside. And then he said yes first. And when he was entering the church, during that time, we were searching people, with the detector. And when he saw the detector at the security guy hand, he said that, oh, I forget something. I'll go and come back an hour later. I think during that time he was planning to do it. And he had a gun probably because he didn't want the security guy to search him. But the security guy also gave him our Christmas invitation. And we were giving everybody when they were coming to the church at that time. And then he started planning to do that during the Christmas time. And as he was planning to do that, his roommate, I learned that actually later.
What was he planning to do exactly? What was he planning to do?
He was planning to assassinate me.
Yeah, so that's you found out, as you're going to say now, yeah.
Yeah, and his roommate actually called the police and told him what he was planning to do. And then police started search him, and also at the same time, they provide me and my family 24 hours protection. But police didn't tell me that there was a threat like that. They said that, during that time, there was a lot of threat for the church, because the Malatya things happened. We just wanted to provide protection for you. And then even that we didn't want to, they insist, and then they started protect me. during the Christmas day, we finished the Christmas service. And after the Christmas service, police came and they said that we need to go to the police station. We want you to identify one of the guy. And I said, what happened? And then they told me that there is one guy that he was planning to assassinate you, but we catch him during when he was entering the Christmas service at the hotel. And he was planning to do that during the Christmas service. And then they put him to jail, you know, and then at the police station, they told me that let's keep that in between us. Let's not say anything to anybody, that it doesn't affect the tourism or anything. But I said, okay. And also I didn't tell my wife too. That was actually one of the day that I learned a really good lesson about the marriage. Because I keep it also secret from my wife that this guy was trying to kill me, because my wife, what happened in Malatya and the other things, she was a little bit nervous, and I thought that if I tell.
Briefly, Malatya, there were 3 Christian brothers who were murdered by extremists.
Yes.
just prior to this situation. So that was a real concern at the time.
Yes. And also there was other attack in different churches too. That's why my wife was nervous, and I didn't want her to get more nervous. That's why I didn't tell. And also police said that they were going to keep it that secret, you know. But the police chief, he didn't talk like that. He said that maybe it will be a good story to show the success of the Antalya police. And then what happened in that night, they gave that news to all the news channels and the newspaper. And I went home and I was upstairs. My wife called me downstairs, and the TV was open, and she saw my picture there. And then she asked me, what's going on, Ramazan? And I said, you know, this happened, and this guy tried to kill me. I was actually so afraid of my wife at that day, more than that guy who tried to kill me. I thought that, you know, my wife will finish the work that this guy, you know, didn't. Anyways, that was the serious threat that we received, because after that threat, police thought that behind this guy, there is some group who wants me to be dead. And that's why they gave me and my wife police protection for 4 months.
Wow, that's a very powerful story. And as you were pointing out, especially in that time period, there was quite a bit of violence that was being done against the Christian community. In Malatya, as you referred to, 3 brothers were kidnapped to a warehouse, and they were murdered brutally together. And it was the same sort of story. Someone had asked them for knowledge about the Bible and wanted to talk with him. And so that was a very real situation for many of you at the time. So thank you for sharing that with us.
You're welcome. Actually, after that threat, you know, we started to feel much different, you know, because we understood that, you know, the death is also very close to us, you know, because we were hearing before from different people what happened to different places. We didn't feel so close to us. But after that, me and my wife, you know, started to feel that, yeah, it can happen to us too.
We need to wrap things up here now, but could you just share with us 3 things that you're grateful for? Now, we know there are bad things happening during the COVID virus. We know that the challenges for Christians in Turkey can be great, but can you share with us 3 things that you're thankful for?
Even that Turkey has lots of challenges for Christian, I'm still thankful that our country, it's not like, you know, other Middle Eastern countries. And I knew countries that they are facing more challenges than us, you know, and even that we can't practice some of our rights, but still I'm grateful that we have some kind of religious freedom, that we can still gather together in our buildings and worship God, and also try to reach out to people. I'm grateful for that. I'm thankful that God is working in Turkey once again. And as you knew that in the Bible, we see that many places that mention in the Bible, it's in Turkey. And Turkey was a Christian land before, but Christianity disappeared. But now we see that almost like 40 years, the Turkish church is growing. Our church is growing. And I am very grateful for that. That also we have lots of people, leaders and volunteers, workers, that they have really big heart for church and trying to reach out to people. And also, I'm very grateful for our brothers and sisters in Christ who lives in different part of the world, like you guys. I'm grateful that I have friends from Norway and the churches that they are behind us and they are supporting us with their prayers and with financially, that we were able to do all these things. I'm grateful for you guys. Yeah.
Thank you. Well, we're very grateful for you as well. And let me just end by saying a verse that we often use is 1 Corinthians 12:26. That says, when one part of the body suffers, all the other parts suffer with it. But the second part is also there. When one part of the body is honored, all the others rejoice also. And so we rejoice too that the church in Turkey is, we don't rejoice that it's being persecuted, but we rejoice that it is continuing to grow and be faithful. So Ramazan, thank you again for being with us today. And we look forward to talking with you again at another time. Thanks.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.